G'day, guys, and welcome back to the Supercoach Swordplay podcast. You're on for Season 5, Episode 17, Off the Potty. Jeez, we're through the buys. I'm very relieved that the buys are over, but we've got a full house. We've got some Oklahoma City merch on amongst us, and we've got some Supercoach Swordplay merch as well. So glad to have you guys here. Today on the potty, we're going to go through the classics, DR's rant, Spillsy tweet of the week after our round reviews. We can talk about the key injuries and the hot topics. A very, very, very small rookie data dump. We're going to talk the strategy of sideways trading as well as the beloved trade target tier list, and then some final strategy talk before we close up with possibly no trades, but there will be a captain's corner. So let's crack straight into it, boys. As always, Good Friday appeal, proud sponsors are proudly supporting them. Total raised $310. But I'm a bit disappointed. We've been stuck on 310 for a while now, but we've sent discount store-wide for the next 2 weeks at supercoachswordplay.com. So make sure to grab your merch. Use the code EOFY15 for 15% off. That's for end of financial year. And yes, please, let's raise this total. Even if you do 15%, we're still going to donate $5 for every beanie purchase to the Royal Children's Hospital. Get one of those beautiful rugby jumpers that Rossco and Spills are wearing at the moment. And yeah, crack into it. As well as that, Speedy Tees, our proud sponsors here at Supercoach Swordplay. If you haven't already, go check out their merchandise line. They've got a brilliant line over there, and they've helped us with some amazing merch over the last couple of years. The cash cow didn't quite go off last week, so hopefully you guys are still in with the fight. We're gonna roll with the same line from last week. So that is what we're gonna go with. It was a bit of a memorable one. We did say it a couple of times, so let's see if you can try get it this time round. All right, let's now move through. I'm talking a lot to game day squad. They are. I feel like I have to pass it over to you here because not only have you got with a personal best in game day squad, but you can see there's a bit of royalty amongst this leaderboard as well.
Absolutely. Very, very lucky. Look, Supercoach has gone down the drain for me lately, but on the positive side of things, the game day squad team has been going pretty well. Now, as I mentioned in previous weeks, some very generous trades have come across my desk recently from two particular people on this podcast. So I do appreciate that, boys. But yeah, did manage to finish 9th overall for the round this week in the new contender series. And the best thing about this series, lads, as you know, only 3 weeks into it and never, ever too late to join. So I managed to get myself a couple of nice prizes as well. There was the 9-player rare pack as well as a 9-player common pack. So lots of silvers, lots of golds, and a nice little platinum in there as well. And a couple of big hits, boys. So I've already actually recorded the video. That'll be out at some stage tomorrow. And check out the big hits I've got. And if you haven't already signed up, use that code word or referral code PEANUT. That is PEANUT. We probably can't say that word anymore, can we, boys? Or
I'll be honest.
Yeah, but we're not changing the code. We're rolling with Peanut. So make sure that you do enter that code, and you'll get a heap of free and extra stuff, courtesy of our partnership with Tommy Cal and all of the wonderful crew at Game Day Squad. But boys, Janath, we can see you here, mate. 10th. So top 10 finish for you as well. I don't know if you went as well as me in regards to the prizes. I think I may have lucked out a little bit more than what you did. You got a potential GWS gun, I believe, a couple of nice ones of him. But yeah, anything that you want to touch on for this week, boys, with the GDS?
I reckon if there are 10 gold Wade Dirksons out there at the moment, I reckon I've got 3 of them. So whether you call, if Wade Dirksen comes good, I'll be laughing, but it is looking pretty slim at the moment, mate. I'm sure that we won't spoil too much, but I do know that you've got some great prizes out of that, some great pulls there. Rossco, you were Mr. Consistent across the board, top 50 across all 3 comps in Start, Contend, and Classic. Where do you think you can get into the top 10? Where do you think it's going to come for you this week?
Look, I think finally getting rid of these dreaded buy rounds. I know, Spills, that you were talking about it before the potty. get rid of these buys where all these frauds are just being able to build equal level squads. Let's get all there, all the talent, and let me go to work. I'll be back.
Jeez, I hope that's not directed at DR, but we'll move on.
Oh, no.
To roll out
Bang,
across
bang,
the body.
bang. Jeez.
Now, look, I feel like it's a pretty grim week across the board. We'll start off with the bottom of the pod, which is myself. At 1848.
Come on.
Do you know what? Sorry, he's humble. He's that much of a sicko, this man, that he's actually enjoying this being bottom of the pod. I guarantee you. He's a sick man. We love him though. He's just that humble, to be honest. So,
no. Well,
yeah, in the dirt this week, mate. But
every single week can't be up there. So look, 1848. But when I say bottom of the pod, second and fourth, which is what I mean that this was a sicko week all around. Dia and I have been separated by 9 points this week. And you're at second, I'm in fourth. I'll take it. It's all right. Look, I kid you not, this was possibly the worst week of Supercoach wise in terms of having a decent team and like expecting more. Because some of the scores, I'm just going to list some off. And boys, if I had to name a villain for the week, this is all of them. Sheasel 60, Mills 56 on debut, Brayshaw 84, Bont 63, Chera 66, TDK 85. Sam Darcy 73 after he was probably on 70 at halftime. Jason Horn Francis 49. I had, let's count this, Clark, Naz, Butters, Dacos, Dawson, Cherry, Petrarca, McCarthy. So 8 tons. And one of them was a rookie. And
that's tough.
2 scores above 130. Like, it was a horrendous week. Hopefully the boys bounce back this week. The early Whitfield news doesn't help. But I think when we get to the captain's corner, there are going to be some very mint matchups that we'll be looking forward to in the upcoming week. So, boys, we'll go from bottom to top. So, Rossco, you're up next, mate.
Solitary point ahead of you for the week, mate.
That's right.
Which is a little something to smile about. No, look, I had another decent week. I managed to get Dacos right with the Eagles as my VC, which was good. My team had a lot of those players you listed that sort of stunk it up, but still enough to go up another 400 places, being down in that top 15% kind of range. I think my team's just about done now. I've got 3 trades left to break in case of emergency, and I'm pretty happy with where I'm sitting. So now hopefully it's just a matter of nailing the loops, nailing the captain every week, and hopefully we can climb back up into the top 10%. So we'll see how we go. DR, over to you.
Yeah, well, not fantastic for me either, boys. In 1857, I was so surprised I was actually sitting second for the week here with a score like that. Just goes to show how tough it was. But I also had the VC on Dacos, like Rossco did. And this is literally at 7:28 before the first game, I reversed my trades. I literally had the horny man sitting in my side. I thought that the best move is to go from Bolton to the horny man. But something just didn't feel right about that shoulder. It was just off. And I've been trying to get rid of Chocky, my man, for the last 2 to 3 weeks. It just hasn't happened. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go with Georgie Boy Hewitt. We were talking about, Sarong, Libba, Horn Francis last week. I decided to go with Hewitt, who I thought was a pretty safe type option. And he ended up being, I think, was the second or third highest scorer in my side for Lockyer, who obviously had the bye and hasn't got the best outlook, I don't think, for the rest of the year, Supercoach-wise. So I was pretty happy with that, to be honest. But overall, went down 2,603 spots during the buys as a whole. And traditionally, that's been a block where I've been pretty strong and I've made a fair bit of ground. But this year, just the complete opposite. And the issue is now, I'm normally that bloke that has those extra trades in the bank. This year, I just don't. I've got 3 left. I've got a completed side with a few frauds sitting in there, more than a few frauds probably sitting in there. But it is what it is, boys. It feels like I've done as much as I can for now. And unless there's an injury that's, a 3+ weeker, it's one of my premiums, I think that I can cover it for now with your McCarthy sitting at 24. And last thing, sorry, and I promised that I'd do this just to the power, the under-14s power, coach them to a grand final. It was all my great work. Obviously, as a coach on Monday night, lost 1 game for the season, but ended up winning by about 30 on the grand final. During the semi and the grand final, so 2 finals games, Maxi dropped a lazy total of 95, I think it was. Couldn't quite get to the 100, the 50 average there. But there he is there, the great man. And that taking out the competition league MVP as well. So very, very proud moments. And his mate Lockie Brown, second in the MVP, and a big keen super coach and watcher of this channel, along with Link as well. Shout out to Orlando, and very quickly to all the other under 14s power. I said I'd give you a big shout out. You are a great bunch of kids, guys, and it was a pleasure coaching. It was all your good work, nothing I did as well. So just want to finish with a little shout out to all the boys and girls there. Great season.
Brilliant stuff, Dia. Well, Spillsy, talking about champions, top of the pod this week. How do you feel?
Oh, yeah, feels good, boys. It's I haven't seen much success this year, so yeah, be top of the pod's pretty good. I think that's definitely definitely felt like I handled the buys pretty well this year. And the only bad thing about it was the trade count. So, for example, I've sort of trade Rankin, I've buy and trade Neil. So a little bit sidewaysy, but avoiding donuts where I can. But 1902 is pretty stock standard. I don't think it's like elite, but it's just a really solid score over the buys, and we're ticking away. Sent a few green arrows, but yeah, the trade count's bad, so yeah, it could potentially come undone. A lot of fake primos, although I did get rid of a player who had his buy in Lockie Neal. I traded in, well, gee, how bad does it get? Mills, Horn Francis. It's that's as bad as inclusion you ever. Two worst inclusions I've had all year, and if they score any more, we're looking really, really good. So yeah, that was unfortunate. A lot of fake primos, and yeah, boys, Chera had his first bad one, only 17 disposals, and out of those 17, 4 of them were turnovers. So he was a bit of a butcher himself, DR. But really hopefully he can.
Careful.
Sorry, boys. I really hope he can turn around. He's been magnificent all year, but yeah, Sheasel, Bond, just the list goes on. Sinclair needs to hit some form, and Bolton as well, terrible. Darcy, hotter than hot in the first half, and then didn't do anything in the second half. That's a life of a key forward. So that's what we signed up for when we bought him in. But really looking to finalize the side in the next probably month. I need to wait for Madden Johnson to start making some coin, and we get Butters in for those two. That would be the end of the side. No trades, but then McCarthy would be the cover for the rest of the year. So who's been an absolute revelation. He's working in Woolies a month ago, and now he's had back-to-back 30 possessions. He's taken the P155. So we've been crying for a rookie this good, and we got one. So yeah, he really benefits my team because there are a lot of holes in it. I'll tell you, it's not looking great this year, but we'll ride through it.
Yeah. Now, boys, very quickly, in terms of sort of Sam Darcy, one of the things that I noticed was Tim English was struggling in the third quarter. And so Grundy was manhandling them all game, basically. Darcy had to spend a little bit more time in the ruck, but obviously Darcy's no match for such a seasoned ruckman like Grundy. I think it's nothing to really worry about in terms of his scoring potential. Like, he was on 67 at halftime and he finished on 73. It was just a matter of circumstance, I think.
Was that 50-metre penalty? That was ridiculous, wasn't it? What up? The bloke was standing there to my eyes. But anyway, I won't rant about that. I've got something else to rant about instead.
Before we go on to the next slide, one thing that I just want to do is I'm sorry if I put you boys on the spot, but what rank were you pre-buys and what rank were you post-buys? So over the buys, I scored 10,221 points to go up from 2,124 to 726. So you don't need to do the points, boys, but if you could just say, we'll go to you, Rossco. What rank were you pre-buys? So that would be before round 11, I think.
Round 11 or round 12?
Sorry, just
round 12.
Bear with me.
Before round
12? Yeah, before round 12, yeah.
All right. So at the end of round 11, I was ranked a very stinky 43,355.
Wow. Huge.
And we've gone up to 27,274, which is 16,081.
Bang.
Nice.
That is almost half the rank there. Beautiful. DR?
Well, I've doubled my rank, unfortunately. The
Oh.
absolute opposite to Rossco. So I went in at 1910 within the top 2K
Ooh.
and have finished at 4,513. So that is a loss of 2,603 spots to be exact. So as I mentioned just before, the buys have not been friendly to me, brother.
Nah, it just it can happen, mate. And Spillsy?
Yeah, so round 11, I was 7K basically, 7,062nd overall, and now, 8,404. So I've just sort of floated around. I've had weeks where I've jumped up a couple of hundred and jumped down a couple of hundred. So yeah, just super consistent. But yeah, we're just floating around, boys. We're hanging around. Nothing bad, nothing good. Just hanging in there. So hopefully we see a little bit of progression with a fully fit side and. There's no holes in the rookie department. So, yeah, really looking forward to, watching 18 teams in a week of footy. It's been a long time. I can't rant enough how annoying the buyers are. They get me. That's probably the reason why I've always wondered why we lost so much passion for the game. I think when there's a buy every week for 4 weeks, and then playing Supercoach, and, don't even get me started, boys. But, it's good that they're all over and we can actually get our premiums on the field once and for all. So, yeah, very consistent. So, can't complain.
Oh, here we go. Surprise, people. I've not had to edit this slide apart from a few of the numbers for I don't know. I can't remember how long this has been, but we do see our brother, the Professor Janath, sitting at the top. I'm just holding on to second at the moment. Spillsy's going to catch me, I think, and who knows? I think Rossco Spillsy, the way he's going, could catch us both. And could there be a Bradbury all the way to the top? I'm not too sure. The gods, the Supercoach gods will need to be kind to go that far, but Rossco would not be surprised to see you sitting on the podium somewhere by the end of the season, brother. So
hoping.
Well done to all of us, but Janath clearly out in front at the moment, doing us proud. And I think that I can say as a collective, we are really rooting for you to have a career best season, brother.
I like how he took over as host because Janath's on top.
He hates doing it. I'm not going to embarrass him.
You're going good, and we want to hear all about it.
Yeah.
Whilst you've got the new ball, mate, go with your threat.
Well, this is ridiculous because I was watching this with my own 2 eyes, Janath. In the first quarter, Jordan Dawson had a nice contested mark. Wasn't the best thing they've ever seen, but absolutely contested and was marked. I was looking at the AFL app for this. And then I believe it was the second quarter, someone kicked inside 50 and he absolutely shanked the kick. So not a great kick. But I'm telling you right now, this bloke was all over Jordan Dawson. I forget who the defender was. This is a different photo here, but it reminded me of something like this. It was this obvious that it was a contested mark. And then I looked at the live scores and I thought, yeah, all right. Well, he only went up a couple of points. It was a bit of a shank kick, this, that. Didn't go out in the full or anything, just a bit of a shank. But where's the points for that nice contested mark inside 50? I go to the app and it's just been listed as an uncontested. So I put a tweet out about it and there were, I think, around 20 comments saying, no, because I said, am my eyes deceiving me? Is it owner's bias? Am I missing something here? People said, no, they back me up. DR, you are missing nothing here. A clear contested mark. They've lost their mind. You're going to lose your mind trying to get your head around why it wasn't a contested mark. So, a bit of a rocket to whoever the official stat person is that is the one that ticks it off. Come on, take a better look. This is absolutely ridiculous. And as we saw, boys, there was a couple of points between us, 7-9 points between Janath and myself from 4th to 2nd in the round rankings this week. That contested mark, hey, that can take us that little bit further. So absolutely spewing about that one, boys. That's rant for this week.
Very quickly, I just want to add on to this. And look, I don't want to pile on, and I'm sure he's a great bloke. But fantasy freak, okay. Now I'm just sitting in this position. You have access to the data. Okay. You have access to data. You know how many players are owned in what percent. You yourself have a team. How many situations do you reckon he has? He just goes, he's like, well, I've got some data on this bloke. I'm going to just gatekeep that for myself, sort of thing. Like, X amount has gone down by 10 points game. Like, I reckon there's a little bit to it, but it's never been mentioned. And I've always been a bit sus as to why he has a team. Like, you can't be working for Champion Data and having a team. Like, that's
You reckon a bit of Champion Data corruption, Janath?
Seems a bit sketchy there, but I won't go too deep into it. I'm sure he's a great bloke and he does provide a lot of data, but if I'm in that position and maybe can't win the 50K, so it's a different story, but geez, there could be some solid gatekeeping that happens in that position there.
I think I might have seen him at Cotton On as well. Come to think of it. Yeah, just from memory. But yeah, we'll leave that one aside. I think they're no, but it's seriously though. You do wonder sometimes. I'm not this big conspiracy theorist, and I've always gone into Supercoach knowing, and we're not sponsored by KFC anymore, but it was always the secret herbs and spices which you just accept with the game, and that's a big argument with fantasy, isn't it? But then we say, well, you get points to kick it out in the floor directly to the opposition. Come on, play the real game. So yeah, it's an interesting system at times, and you do. Yeah, often leave watching games with some question marks, but yeah, I agree, Janath. It's
but
yeah,
look, DR, maybe this is just your signal to say I'm all in on game day squad.
All in,
perhaps no scaling at all.
I want a top 50 in contender. Top 50. That's my goal. I think top 50 for contender.
And Spillsy, one great legend is retiring from the SC community. I reckon he should also get onto game day squad, but I'll let you handle this, mate. Your tweet of the week.
Yeah, I'll do my best here. So yeah, I think a lot of yous would know for those watching who might not be on X or Twitter. Yeah, the great Supercoach Godfather Abs himself is retiring at the end of the year. Excuse me, boys. I feel like I haven't really spoke much, so I'm gonna clear my throat. But yeah, Abs is retiring from our great game, and yeah, this had to be tweet of the week, only fitting. And yeah, so he's gone. Yeah, major announcement. Thank you for your support, encouragement, friendship, and kind words over the years. I think it's time to move on now. Yeah, many won't be aware, but I was going through a bit of shit last year, and Abs was really he was right in the corner. He was just unbelievably great, man. He was he was always there. So yeah, just on and off the game, just a super bloke. And it's a bit small. I'll try and read this, but he's obviously got a bit of a doc here. I'll try and read it word for word, boys, as Abs would say. But yeah, I've decided that I no longer enjoy SC. I have no motivation left to play. The question becomes, how many times can you climb Mount Everest? So obviously, Abs finished 4th in 2021, or I think it was 2022 actually. Just had a super year and absolutely dominated. So yeah. I have achieved everything I wanted to achieve. He's good, isn't he? I'm going to miss that the most, boys. That's what I just love watching his round reviews. Yeah. He's just quality. I have been in the top 100 4 times in 8 years, 9 if you count this year. Finished top 10 once. That's his 4th finish. There is nothing left because when I don't get into the top 10, I feel like a failure. That I'd give anything, mate. I'd give anything.
High expectations.
When most people are excited about getting into the top 100, it doesn't excite me anymore. I just see success finishing in the top 10 now, and unfortunately, it has to go right for that to happen. So this will be our final year playing Supercoach. So this is a man who has very, very high standards, and rightly so, because he's one of the GOATs of Supercoach. And there'll be many people in our game that haven't heard of him or seen his content. And then just to spice it up a little bit, boys, just to make it a little bit more sweet, Josh Giddey. So DR's and Janath's boy has dabbled in on this one. Just caught us all off guard. Now this is his real account. This is not a spam account. This is the real thing. So yeah, he's absolutely sent a love, a couple of crying face emojis. He's definitely going to miss the Godfather as well. But yeah, boys, how radical is that? You never would have thought, but we do know that Josh Giddey loves his Supercoach beyond the 4 walls. But that was very, very fitting to see that on what was a very sad announcement, must be said.
Oh,
look,
absolutely.
Something that we just weren't expecting, sort of thing. But look, how about I put it to the boys this way? Abs is going to get chaired off at the end of the season. Who's going to be there in the guard of honor chairing him off?
Look, I'll absolutely be lining up, but I'm not the biggest bloke. All you blokes are so much bigger than me, so I might be sitting there, the little fella, maybe not be able to do that job. But I'll certainly organise a cheer squad, and I'll be the number 1 fan there, believe me, because I love the great man. But Yeah, look, who would we get to cheer him off? He's got so many great friends in the community. Maybe a couple of the Richmond boys, maybe a Swizz, I think, would
Yeah,
be
Swizz
nice,
comes
being a
to
Richmond
mind.
man. And I think they go back a long way. And look, Abs goes back a long way with everyone, doesn't he? To be honest, he's just such a wonderful bloke. And Josh, if you're watching, mate, very disappointing about Abs. Extremely disappointing. Believe me, I promise you, we are the saddest people out there. However, the Swordplay potty will be continuing and hopefully going strong. So feel free to tune in, mate. You are welcome on this podcast anytime. So the invitation is open to you, my friend. And the Bulls jersey, I'll be getting the Bulls jersey. I'm an OKC man, but the Bulls jersey is coming in the mail. So thanks for supporting the Supercoach community, Josh.
I think I've actually got a rip-off Bulls Guernsey somewhere around here.
Don't say that's
I feel like
quality.
I think I bought it when I was like, I thought it was like 15 or something from the Victorian market. It's definitely
Go to
fake. I
Pipeworks.
do have one. I do have one around here somewhere. I probably could have whipped that out, but forgot about it. But not only do we want Giddy on the podcast, he can host it. Stuff it. He can just take control and lead us. Just lead the pod. I'd be all open for that. 100%.
We're trying to nail a couple of big fish up over the upcoming weeks. So Josh, I apologize if I was blowing up your phone, your DMs yesterday asking to come on the potty, but that was me. But yeah, feel free to take up the open invitation, mate. All yours. All right, boys. Hot topics. Rossco.
I was going to say we're going into the injuries. There's one bloke that's recently joined the injury list as of about 45 minutes ago who should have some free time to join the potty as well. I'll drop his name when we get to him.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. Do you want to take over the injuries then, mate?
Oh yeah, I'll get it up for you. Let's have a look.
Who is he talking about? I hope I don't own him. Is this an inside job? I hope I don't own him.
His last name starts rhymes with P.
Don't say anything.
What
did you say?
He's got no idea.
What?
His last name rhymes with pinch.
Ah.
Darren Hinch? No. Darren Hinch.
Darren Hinch.
Oh, Darren Hinch.
All righty. Let's get into the injuries. We've got Adelaide. Not really too much going on here. Matt Crouch, 2 to 3 weeks. Luke Pedler with a test. Be nice to get him back.
Come on, Ped. Get up, son.
Forward depth cover. And we've got Sid Draper is an option, but don't rely on him at all. DR, your boys, Brisbane.
Look, Kenny Coleman says a quad 1 to 2, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him another 3 to 4, 5 to 6. I really don't know, so I wouldn't be relying on this at the moment. But yeah, I'd love to see Tom Duday come into the side, but concussion test, very unfortunate. But yeah, not much relevance there, mate, for us.
We've got Carlton, Janath boys. We've got a bit of a bigger injury list than most. Hudson and Keith, 1 to 2 weeks away, Janath.
I think we're cooked, mate. Honestly, Harry Mackay 2 to 4 weeks. Sardi 1 to 2 weeks concussed. Jack Silvani groin 2 weeks. At least this probably means that Matty Carroll will get another good stint in the side. I feel like he's just been going in and out like a revolving door. Lockie Cowan should come back in this week, but it's guesswork as to who goes in and who comes out, sort of thing. I really hope we just put up a fight against Collingwood on the weekend.
Yeah, now I've got a quick question for you as well. I forgot to ask. Okay. I'm not sure if this happened last week or it was just the week gone by. Was it true that you were the one behind the graffiti at Icon Park?
Oh, I heard rumours too that maybe he's such a good man, but maybe just lost his marbles a little bit and went down to Bunnings, got some paint. Is this true, Janath?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh,
all right, we're moving on.
Definitely Little Dan, I reckon. Had to be Little Dan. Just putting a lid on it.
You mean Richmond Gorringe?
Richmond Gorringe. Little Dan, Big Ollie. Richmond Gorringe, yep.
All right, we're on to the pies. So we've got the Goey TVC.
Honestly, what a rap. Sorry, no, carry on, Rossco.
What a rabble. Isn't that Charlie West that hit on the weekend?
Oh, yeah, he made his debut and he's out for 5 to 6 weeks.
Oh, jeez.
Big shout out to you to Beat Gordon on Twitter, a notorious Marvel Surface complainer. It's struck once again, mate. 5 to 6 weeks for Charlie West. Don't stop complaining about it. I love seeing it every single time. Anyway,
talking about stadiums and grounds, by the way. The
Oh,
SCG
Janath.
on Friday night
Janath.
was a rabble. It was like
Wasn't it?
a sinking sand hole down one end of the ground.
My man John O'Brien was not happy. He was not happy. I don't know how many times during the telecast that he mentioned it, but yeah, made his feelings very clear. The old brown dog.
Did you guys see the Insta post from the Giants? Like, oh yeah, you can play at NG Stadium or something like that.
Oh,
You know,
cheeky, but
you can train
really.
there if you want to. It's just so funny. I can't remember what it was. But, yeah, what a
Let's
dig.
go.
They are ruthless on the socials of Giants.
They are. So
Just
good.
great content.
We've got the Bombers with a very unclear sort of injury list. A lot of TBCs.
Dons.
Upward start there with a test.
Rabble.
Anyone still on?
Where's Ridley?
What's that?
When's Ridley due back?
He's
Jordan
he's
Ridley,
playing.
a test.
He's a test.
Ooh.
Zach Reed, a test. Mason Redmond, 1 week. Could it spell trouble for a few of our boys, Clark and Johnson? Spillsy, what do you reckon?
Oh, mate, you probably watched them more than I have, honestly. Parrish though, he's out. Big surprise to the public
You
there.
got to trade him, Spills. Trade him for
Parrish
an early
Ironman.
second.
I know he was a bit of a
Got it.
slider in the draft, but yeah, you make your bed, you lay in it. So yeah, Darcy boy, yeah, he's out. So gee, never saw that one coming, DR.
Move on from
Honestly, he's always just
No.
been known for his durability.
I saw the
Elijah
Darcy
Sardis,
coach
40
update this-
disposals.
Yeah.
Always promising there.
4 disposals
Yeah.
he'll have 11
Yeah.
and probably get subbed on the weekend if he gets in the side.
Yeah,
He'll play
Yeah.
like 40% TOG, kick it at like
so bad.
45% efficiency.
Oh,
so bad.
He's the. Is there really
Matt
much?
Fife here, who got injured without even playing on the weekend, which is very interesting. Cooper Simpson, still 3 to 4 weeks away. Hayden Young, 2 to 3 weeks away.
We'll take that.
Brandon Walker probably comes in this week, but I don't think that'll change the role for Clark and Ryan too much. Geelong have got a small injury list. A lot of players I don't really know here, Moliere and Hoffman. Not really much going on with the Cats. Gold Coast, not really much going on with them either. Now, GWS is interesting. We've got Kieran Briggs as a test.
Spills, he wants him out.
That's not good for me. I've got Nick Madden, so I really hope he can hold. That's a big one. Very
Yeah,
nervous.
and then there's a couple
Do
of
you
just bigger
need
players.
Madden,
Yep.
Like,
Big
do you
time.
need him to play?
Yeah,
like,
I really
on
need
field?
him. No. I need his cash. He's my main chance of like grabbing butters. So I really need him to cook on the bench.
With 2 trades, are you really looking to go down to 0, make an upgrade, or wouldn't you just prefer to
Bloody
hold him
oath.
to his string?
100%. Absolutely,
Spills, he's sending
mate.
it like a rocket.
I'm
Send
sending it.
All right.
I
All right.
don't
He
have a
wants to.
3-digit
You,
rank,
you,
mate.
mate.
Like, I don't know what that feels like, mate. I'm themselves. It's all the top 10K boys. I got, I want to enjoy the game. Want to get back up there.
That's it.
So, and I
Fair
think
enough,
McCarthy's just really good cover as well. So if anything does go wrong, I'm more than happy to like substitute him on. It's more like if there's an injury in the forward line, we're rooted. But
Yeah.
I'm willing to take that chance. And
We've got Lockie
sorry,
Whitfield
Rossco,
here.
keep jumping in your injury report. We've got to very
week.
rude of me.
Kieran Briggs here.
This
the
is
chance
crap.
just to hold him
Bloody
down.
Whitfield.
Whitfield.
Sorry, now I'm jumping in too, Rossco. Sorry, mate, but come on. I know that like you get this with Whitfield, don't you? Just he steps on a pebble, rolls his ankle on the way to training or something, bites his tongue, liver or something. It's just random stuff that happens to this bloke, and it happens every year it seems, and it's just his turn. And against West Coast, see, this is the non-owners are so kissed with this, like so kissed against West Coast. It's like, yeah, look at Rossco celebrating down the bottom, coming home with a wet sail. This bloke doesn't own Whitfield. Look at the man, like, oh, it makes me sick. But just frustrating that one. Poor old Lockie.
We've got Hawthorn with Josh Weddle, TBC. Heard he's back.
Big
Might
one.
not return in 2025. I don't think there's too much going on. Henry Huswaite, 28 touches and 11 clearances. He
Oh.
might get another chance.
Pencil.
I don't care.
Don't care.
I don't care.
Uh,
I don't care.
Melbourne
about
just
the
sort of got a lot of fringe players here. Not really much going on. North Melbourne, got to zoom out a little bit for this one. Anything relevant? Combin's a
What's
test.
the go with Sheasel? What happened to Shees? So how
Oh, he's not
bad's that?
here.
No, he's not. But didn't he get like in the last 30 seconds or something?
He was in full training today. Just
That's
had the
good.
non-contact cap on, but he's not on the injury report, so I think he'll
And
play
it
this
doesn't
week.
even mention anything about him. That, like, surely if she's in the non-contact hat, this is mentioned somewhere here in the mix. There's a whole paragraph here. Put Sheasel's name in there just for a sentence at least. Like, come on, that's it's a bit weak.
No
We're not
mention of
having
Horn.
you,
No horny one.
Yeah. We've got Ollie Wines with a test who could come in for Manning Liddy, the man with the sleeve.
No.
That's a good shout.
We got Richmond, who Lafau's got 4 to 6 weeks. I swear he just made his season debut last
That's
week.
shattering, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was really disappointing. He's a good player.
Very stiff.
He is a jet.
Bit
Round
cursed.
22.
Here we go.
Tom Lynch. Let's
That's
give this
5
guy an
weeks.
absolute fake.
Is
Pinch.
that 5?
That is 5.
Yeah, 5
Oh, that's
weeks.
the wrong one. Yeah, bad luck, Tommy. And I'll just give a rocket bugger you, Tommy. You've got history with doing this, so I'm not a fan. I'll just put it out there, right? I don't attack play. I've just got in trouble for saying Clay's a butcher, so I'll be careful. But I've just never been a fan of the little acts this bloke does. Like, remember Alex Witherden?
Yeah.
Just a little shove in the back of the head. It's just that's not tough stuff. I'm not saying he's a weak person or a weak player, but I think there are a few weak acts that he's committed, and I just don't have any respect for that. So, bad luck. Well deserved, Tommy.
So that's 5. But if Butts was concussed, how much is that getting?
Season. He's got to be going
That's
for the
10.
season.
That's 10 plus.
Has to
Surely.
be. What did Barry Hall get back in the day? Was that
7?
7.
He got
well,
7.
if you compare these days to
That was
those,
way worse, I thought, Barry Hall's. But as the game's evolved, I reckon they're kind of on par. Like, but it wasn't as serious back then because it was a long time ago. It was like 20. It was 20 years ago, boys, when that happened.
Yeah,
But
it's nuts.
nowadays we're so hot on that. Like, you need
Really?
an elbow guy. You tackle a bloke. Who was the one? Was it Paul Curtis that was just really stiff? Like,
Yeah.
yes.
nothing he could do about that, and he got 3 weeks. So I feel like 7's probably the max with the AFL. I don't know.
Yeah.
But deserves everything that comes because that was well ordinary. Just
St Kilda, we got King out for the season. Filippo another 2 to 3 weeks, but nothing really is changing.
King injured again. No.
Yeah, he's been injured the whole year.
No. Surely not Rossco. King and Parish injured.
Nice numbers.
Surely not. Who's next, Janath? Welsh. Oh, come on, boys.
Welsh.
Scotty Welsh.
Scotty Welsh.
All right, we got the Swans. Taylor Adams, probably another one that can go on your list there, Spillsy.
I forgot he was even on an AFL list, to be honest.
He's on 5 today.
Has not worked out for him, has it? It's unfortunate.
He should stay at the Pies.
Ben Patton, anyone still looking for a dead bench rookie? He could be your man if he comes back in. Peter Adams, impressed in the VFL DR.
Oh, DR. Yes.
Here we go.
Adams.
Yes.
Peanut.
Peanut.
There we go. Well done,
24
mate.
scores.
Congratulations.
And then we've got West Coast with a small one. Duo 1 to 2 weeks. Tom Gross is making a strong case to return. I like the sound of that.
Come on, Tommy boy.
And we've got the doggies. Liam Jones, a test. Trelaw, 6 to 8 weeks, which is a shame for him. Might be the end of the season. And do we get Buslinger? I don't own him, but, he could come in. He
I've got him.
I don't really know.
I've got him, unfortunately.
Could be a nice
He's
little
rotted
bonus.
away.
And I think that just about sums it up, really.
Can I just bookmark this just with a question? Spillsy, are you still going to go through with getting a tattoo of a VFL player on yourself?
I honestly would, boys, if I could actually get the portrait done. It's just such an awkward situation. Like
awkward because
not
now
just
he's been
talking
dropped
smack.
in the resis or what?
I'm hearing a lot of excuses coming out of this.
I genuinely walked into the tattoo parlor, right? And I booked in an appointment. I had a full-blown chat. And he's like, yeah, I can do it. But the head's going to be like the size of your hand for a portrait. It's really hard to do. So he's like, we could get the font. And I'm like, look, that probably looked a little bit shit. So I kind of ruled it out a little bit because for a portrait, you've got to get him big. So that if I got Bias's face tattooed, that would have been a $600, $700 tattoo. So that's a big commitment, boys. So if I could get a little bit smaller, I really would have loved to have done it. But unfortunately, yeah, the tide was against me on the occasion, but hopefully, any ideas for some weird tattoo?
Yeah,
Well,
down
that's
below.
advice
Go
this
down the
week.
line.
Down below,
Miami
people, in the
Vice for
comment.
life.
Just on my foot.
Yeah, like,
Just
on
get
your-
Life
tattooed
for
on my
life.
foot.
Yeah.
Cost
I
a
could
chance.
still do it. I don't know. We'll see if we can hit some form, boys.
All right, boys.
Good early.
Before we end up in whatever podcast we're talking about, let's get back onto being the Supercoach
That's
podcast.
what you're
real
there for,
quickly.
Janath. Steer the ship, mate.
There are some rookie options that I think this case will, I reckon, be the best test case of seeing how many alive teams, so not dead teams like coaches that are given up already, but how many teams are still playing Supercoach. Because if you're playing Supercoach at the moment and you don't have Tom McCarthy in your team by the end of this round, that's a dead team, basically, in my opinion. So right now, McCarthy is 47% owned going into this round. And with a break even of negative 175, I think if he scores 104, he will break the all-time price rise record
Is that
of
the most ever?
124K held by Errol Goulden a couple of years ago. So
Yeah.
there's that. 99.1K. I'm not going to talk much about it. If you don't have him, get him in. Harry Rouston, playing West Coast. He should hold his position. He's played quite well the last 2 weeks before their bye. 161K, so an elevated price rookie. But as I mentioned last week, he sort of reminds me of Angus Sheldrick. Gets in the side as a sub, holds his position, and just gets an extended stint. Giants have looked better with him in the side as well, so I do like that. And then you go a little bit more speculative. So a couple that I'm thinking about here is Archer May, 99,100. Forward only is the issue. You also do have Alexander Taru, your boy Rossco. He's elevated price again, 163K, negative 25 break even. I think after McCarthy, though, if you're looking for a player that has rock solid job security, you sort of can't go past Taru. If you've got a little bit of money extra to spend, that 50K sort of thing, to get up to Taru, he should hold for the rest of the season, Rossco. Yeah?
He looks
so
good.
Those are probably the biggest ones that I would mention. And also, how about this? Our boy Huey Jackson, not Jackman, just coming out of the clouds. Out of the clouds. So he went 23, 58, 10 in his first 3 games, and then 109 on the weekend, 173K. So I don't know if he can pay up that much for a bloke that had 17 touches, 3 marks, and 2 tackles for 109. That is the Supercoach algorithm for you.
That's crazy.
I'm assuming it's disposal efficiency there, but that's ridiculous. He went at, oh, sorry, bear with me. He went at 76% disposal efficiency, 3 contested possessions.
What?
Yeah, that's actually really similar to what Mills had on the weekend. Like his efficiency was high as well. He was in the 20s and a pop of 56. So I find that bizarre.
100. He did a lot of work early in the game, but to get to 109 with those stats, let's not go on. I feel like we're a bit of a negative Nancy at the moment here.
Yeah.
Kudos to him, but yeah, where's that come from?
Yeah. But look, I think McCarthy, if you don't have him, get him in, and then those other options. Boys, I don't know there's much to talk about there. If you had to rank, those last 3 that I mentioned there, so Rouston, Archer May, Alexander Taru, and let's even put Hugh Jackson into the mix. Give me your next 2 if you have McCarthy and you're looking for a downgrade option.
I'd be close to going Rouston.
Yeah.
In that midfield position. Who would you guys have second?
Yeah,
I go Taru if you had the money because he's not getting dropped.
Yeah.
Well, he's the perfect St Kilda debutant because they're such a defensive-minded side, Rossco, and he had one of the best defensive games ever for a rookie. So he's not going anywhere. So if you want to fork out another 40K, like for that security and potentially cover, he looks really good. But if you don't want him and you already got McCarthy, maybe just grab a loop. Like, do you really need the cash? I don't think I'd bother. I'd just grab the best DPP 99K rookie.
Yeah.
Now, my one question with Taru, how many points, I don't know if someone knows, how many points do you get for a spoil?
So it depends if it's effective or not. So I've seen some data going around that if it's an ineffective spoil, so that means the ball goes directly to the opposition, I think it's 1. And then it gets scaled up. So if you spoil the ball, it goes out of bounds. it's either 1 or 2. But if you spoil the ball, he goes directly to a teammate, it's plus 3
That's
or
the
4.
one, Janath. That's the one. That's what Jaden was on. Our man Jaden, the stats guru. He broke down literally all of that sort of stuff, and it was one of the best reads I've ever had. So Janath's absolutely on the ball, and it's even, and people don't understand this. It's where you lay a tackle on the field, defense, midfield, forward, different point system according to Jaden's model. And from what I can see, it's the most accurate model that I've seen ever going around. It goes into every single little detail about your 1%ers. It's huge. And 1%ers are another thing that people don't take into account with their super coach. A nice spoil, you get a good shepherd there. The contested knock-on is a huge one, particularly for the Bont. He is the king of contested knock-ons, or has been in previous seasons, and that's another reason why he scored so well. It's the little things that the best players like the Bont do, those real special players that and that's where some of the secret herbs and spices come in that aren't as secret as what some people think.
Yeah, so here's the points breakdown. It's the definitions are up here, and then you got the stat breakdowns. And Dia, as you're mentioning, points typically for defenders, you get that scaling up because it's in the defensive 50, which is more like the critical zone. And then also points in the forward 50 is also a critical zone, but you wouldn't see as many spoils, for instance, for your forward that's playing in that position, if that makes any sense there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that. And what we'll do is we'll put this link in the YouTube video. DR will link that to the video, the Stats by Jane. It's a great read for those that haven't read it before. All right, boys, that breaks it down there. Let's now go and talk trade targets. So we got one more tier maker to go, but this is quite a juicy one, if I might say so. There are so many relevant options that are coming off the round 16 bye. I guess we'll start off with the suitcase. The Rolls Royce from Brisbane, Hugh McCluggage.
Well, I might start this one off. Surely top 6 to 8, lads. Surely we've got to have
Easily.
I think so, yes.
If I could choose to own one pod on my side, and it's a lot of love being a Brisbane man, Huey McCluggage, he has just had a phenomenal season, All-Australian contention. Does not cop the tag somehow. I don't know. Super damaging by foot, particularly inside 50. He's an absolute gun. He's elite, Huey. So, yeah, top 6 to 8 for me.
Too easy. I reckon that's a pretty easy one there. He's probably not a must-have just yet in his career, but a great player. This next one, the football version of Messi.
Yeah.
In his last 6 games, he's had 4 tons. 114, 90, 126, 110, 167. But I guess with the player for 493k, so a little bit more expensive than your Rankin types, but it's what's coming ahead that has us tempted a little bit. Richmond this week and in round 24, North Melbourne in round 20, 4 games at GMHBA Stadium, including this week against St Kilda, against Port Adelaide and Essendon. Is he a pod option in your forward line, or do you think
definitely?
Absolutely.
You got to give it. You got to shout him out and get around him for that. Like usually look at it straight off the bat and go, no way. Like, but you look at the numbers, pretty solid. It's good. I don't mind it.
Slightly
I'd probably
lower,
put
do
him
you reckon?
Yeah.
slightly lower. He's been an absolute game day squad stud. His scoring has been really, really good because he has a high amount of marks usually each game. So that kind of, chip mark is really suited to that format. I'd probably put him slightly lower. And I was actually tempted to bring him in, but the problem was the bye. So I went for Sam Darcy, obviously, because he was, coming off the round 12 bye and Myers was heading into the bye. And I mean, I think I still back that decision, but if I hadn't filled out my forward line, Myers would definitely be one that I'd be considering.
Awesome. I think we're in unison there. This next player averaged 101 for the season, but over their last 5 games has scores of 119, 123, 102, 111, 125. Jai Caldwell, I think, is a very sneaky pod that could push top 8 as a midfielder. He's got the runs on the board now. Zach Merritt's role is all over the place, but Caldwell has been secure in that midfield role for the last 5 weeks. Spillsy, I'll put it over to you first as the Dons man. Where do you sort of rate Caldwell from here on to the end of the season?
Well, if you're looking at bringing him in, like unbelievable numbers, unbelievable form. Make sure you've got the trades, and I think it's probably a little bit more of a luxury. But when we were talking about like non-durable players before in the injury list, well, yeah, he's right up there. He's a shocker at times. So the best way I can compare him, I reckon, he's like the Graham Myers of the midfield. Like he's in great form,
Okay.
a really good pod, but like you probably have him slightly lower, and yeah, if he keeps up this form, knocking on the door, top 6 to 8. But I just think there's a lot more stronger, more secure options, and yeah, I don't know. He wouldn't be in my top sort of 10 players to trade in, but geez, going pretty well. So it's hard to ignore the form. Just really injury prone, so you gotta be careful that one. Make sure you got the trades and go there.
DR Rossco, do you feel comfortable with him in slight low? I don't think you can go lower than that, but could you push him into top 6 to 8?
Look,
I still don't think so.
What people got to consider as well, it's history's it's now until the end of the season if you're trading him in now at this stage. So, look, there's potential for him to do it, but I think I'd be much more comfortable putting him in slightly lower for me, mate.
Nah, fair enough. These next, I'm going to pair them as the Dash Brothers, as Joey Montagna's tagged it. Are they both must-haves? With everything that I told about Brian Myers, is it as simple as you sort of want to have both of the run home?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely you want both. Absolutely you want both. Like, Holmes, for me, has gone from that guy, I'm worried about getting tags, going to give me a few 70s here and there. I'm just worried about him going 140, 130s now. It's insane. He is such a good player. They the pair of them, just phenomenal. And a huge reason for Geelong's success this year, the pair of these blokes. So, yeah, costly, but yeah, you'd love to have him in your side.
I think I'm going to go as far as to say Holmes was my best trade in this season at the point that I got him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice, Rossco.
Sub 500K, and he's just gone bananas ever since.
Yeah. Nah,
he's so good. I really wish I grabbed him when I could have. I can't remember who I picked. It might have been Merritt, actually, instead. I'm pretty sure that was a shocker. They're both around the same. Like, they're really low. Bottom price. They bottomed out, essentially, and yeah, I'm not going to be able to grab Holmes at all for the rest of the year, more likely. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough antipod for the rest of the season. So, yeah, he's a star. He's so good.
There are 7 players that are priced over 600K. Max Holmes and Bailey Smith are 2 of them. So you're going to have to pay up if you don't have them, but we know the quality that they have. This next one, along with Holmes, I would probably have in contention as my best trade this season, Tom Green. So Tom Green in his last, let's say, 8 games. He's gone 136, 110, 140, 115, 95 as the lowest score, 112, 125, 101.
Damn.
I think he's a top 6 to 8 option, or at the very least, top of slightly lower. He's just anchored that midfield through this entire season, basically. Since he's got back in, do we feel confident putting him as top 6 to 8?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep, and they've got a pretty good run home for inside mids, don't they, from memory, Janath? Or have they already
West
gone
Coast
through a
this
bit of that
week, North Melbourne, Gold Coast, St Kilda the last 3, and we know that Tom Green doesn't normally cop the tag there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nicky Martin, the defender mid, he's been a little bit of a yo-yo. He's been a little bit of a butcher. And he's been a little bit of peanut as well. So we just chucked all 3 of them. Calvin, if you're watching, g'day, mate. His last...
We weren't going to go there, boys.
His last 6 scores.
Monkey's out of the bottle
93, 88, 112, 128, 163, 95, 145. That is, the floor is not exactly 60 like it was at the start of the season. But at 573K, how do you guys view him as a pick? He has Richmond in a couple of weeks. So that's probably a 150 you can just pencil in because he just loves playing them. But apart from that, it's a tough fixture to end the season. Where do you boys sit with it?
I'm going to advocate for this one. Like, his best is elite, but his worst is, he has a Dons man who has been to many games. Like, when he's at his worst, I'd say our supporters, they hate him. Like, he actually cops it. Like, I know it's a frowned upon term, but he is a serious butcher on his down days. So
Yeah.
as a Dons man, I'm happy to put my hand up and say yes. Yeah, it can be pretty bad, but when he's on, he's kicking 2 or 3 goals and just having 30. I mean, yeah, he's a sexy player. So I reckon I'd almost, because he's got defender forward status, I think top 6 to 8 is absolutely fair and reasonable, particularly in the forward line. If he was a defender only, I'd probably have him slightly lower, but that forward eligibility really pumps him up. So, yeah, where you've put him, Janath, I would not argue with that at all.
So right now he's the 4th on average in the forward line. So Luke Jackson.
Yeah.
Can you boys believe it? Luke Jackson is averaging 123. 123. That is nuts. Like, I didn't realize that's how good of a season he's having. 123. Smith at 118. McRae 106.5. Martin 105.8. Those are the 4 forwards that are averaging above 100. So I think he is, even though he's a bit inconsistent, his good games will be enough to get him as a top 6 state. Rossco, you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
I'd say that like, absolutely top 6 to 8. Absolutely for Nick Martin. Yeah.
Will Ashcroft. So Prince Charming himself, his last 6 games, 129, 74, 109, 124, 87, 108. 4 games left at the Gabba. You've got a Gold Coast match up there in there as well, but no North, West Coast, or Richmond to come. I'll start with you, Dia, as the Lions man. I would love for you to put these 3 in a category, that being Neil, Dunkley, Ashcroft.
All right. Can I start with Neil?
Go on.
Pass.
Pass.
Yeah.
Pass.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now.
So many good options.
If you can find me one current Lockie Neal owner that's legitimately happy with the pick, then let me know. Because they're rarer than hen's teeth, those people.
Now he's going to bounce back there.
Paying attention. Oh, why would you want to own him? Let's be honest.
You just trade him. Now he's going to hit form.
Jeez, that's nuts.
He probably will. He probably will, actually. But
I'm nervous
now. I'm actually having Ashcroft ahead of Neil with better options available for me.
Yeah.
Dunkley, I would have him ahead of Ashcroft just based on some ceiling potential there and some big games he can have. And then Zorko,
this is a tough one.
He's top 8 defender, but I'd have him at the bottom of that.
Yeah, I'm going to put him just... Yeah, I'll put him in top 6 to 8.
Still
for me now. Because we've got Shees with question marks. At least there's no question marks about his role, like there was someone like a Shees. So I don't know if I'm being too harsh on Chocky there. It might be, better options available. But if I can, what I tried to do then was put a new one on each line, and that's probably how I'd rank each of them as a pick related to position, etc.
Even with Dunkley, he's also been a roller coaster. And so his last, so I know there's a 2-tier difference between Dunkley and Neil, but his last 6 have gone 126, 76, 120, 72, 95, 110. Like, Dunkley himself hasn't been the prettiest own. Zorka hasn't been the prettiest own. It feels like none of these Lions boys, apart from McCluggage, just really put a season together.
It's very true. Where would you have them, mate? So what moves are you making there?
I would move
Dunkley to better options. That's very fair.
Dunkley down. And then Zorko's the tough one.
I would happily
you could almost have him there.
Down or up.
Have him there. Yeah.
Happy either way, mate. Happy either way.
What do you boys think, Spillsy, Rossco?
I think he should go up. Yeah.
I think he's definitely top 8, but it's just disappointing because he should be top 2. So I think we have him.
Yes.
Standards are held very high because he's not exceeding like top 2 or 3 defender like we thought he would. Like, we think he'd be slightly lower, but I'm sure if you went to total points or average for defenders, he would be right up there in the top 8. I'll have a look at it right now as I speak. I'm pretty sure
you take away his 50-meter penalties against and he's there for sure. Like, he's just done a few silly things lately. He's been a little bit undisciplined. So, Rossco, what do you think, mate, with the Lions boys? Any changes you'd make, up or down?
No, I'm pretty happy with where they sit, but I'm not happy with the fact that I own one that's a better option available, one that's a pass.
Zorko's 7th overall for total points, and everyone's had a bye. So, yeah, I think, bottom of top 6 to 8 is absolutely fair and reasonable. So,
Yep, nice, Spillsy.
Now, very quickly on that, Spillsy, I can't quite remember, but with the total points, is it a bit deceptive because Brisbane had an in-season bye? Or did their game not go ahead? Their game didn't go ahead, did it, DR? No. Sorry,
Yeah.
mind me.
I can still
That
punch in
was- I
average,
think
and I'm
shocking.
sure it will be.
But like Whitfield and Ash's numbers wouldn't be correct by total points because they played Collingwood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's almost
That's
more
weird.
more misdeceiving with average because now he's 8th for average,
Yeah.
but that's because big boy Tommy McCarthy D1 for average. So how
McCarthy.
realistic is that? So yeah, total points is a little bit more of a stronger sample size, I think.
No, of course, mate. Of course. And sorry, I just had a look as well. Round 0 isn't counting the played there anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. All right, Tommy Stewart. So he is the next man up. Supercoach Royalty. He has looked really good since he's got back from that injury.
He's flying.
So he's gone
Big on my
98,
face.
103, 111, 109, 118. Rossco, as a proud
That's
owner,
my boy.
we put him in. We put him in.
Um,
We know the Geelong fixture to come.
no, I still think he's a slightly lower rung in the line.
Oh,
you
he's been modest.
paused.
He's
I
been
thought
very
you were going
modest.
6 to 8. I thought you were going 6 to 8 with the pause, Rossco.
He was going to go must have.
Nah, he's been a
Oh,
good
that's all
option at the price, but I still can't encourage.
He's not
on the
ahead of
season
Zorko yet.
overall, Like I still couldn't encourage buying him and trusting him to be that top 6 to 8. Like it was just he was the one that was available. I got him and he's going well, but I wouldn't rely on that till the end of the year. No way.
Fair enough, mate. All good. All right, this next one. Oh, geez, how do you?
Frustrating.
Is he? Do we just put him in top 6 to 8 and
Yeah.
talk about it? Or
Yeah.
is there discussion that he's not a top 6 defender anymore?
I thought
No,
you were going to
still
put
is.
him must have. Jeez, are we that worried? Damn
Must
it.
have. Well,
He-
No,
He's
I was
top
joking.
6 to
I thought,
8.
nah. I've comfortably got him still sitting there for Lockie Whitfield, who he is. Boys, would you chuck him down, or are you happy?
No.
6
It's a
to 8?
setback, but he's not.
Easy for me, but
He's not
it's
dropping.
not so much the concussion for me. It's more so before that week we saw some role shiftiness, and I don't know whether that was a matter of circumstance, like Brent Daniels not being there, Toby Green being injured a couple of weeks, and then Whitfield just has to go play forward. I don't think it's going to happen again, and if it doesn't, then we're fine. Lockie Ash is in the same boat, and speaking of Lockie Ash, I don't know where he is. He should be in here.
that's all right.
But
But
Lockie Ash should also be a top 6 to 8 option.
yep,
Boys, do we
complaints there.
agree with that?
Yeah.
Lockie Ash is D2, so like I'm no, you're not gonna say must have, but gee, like if you had to give him a bit of a boost, had an incredible year. So
Sorry, just very quickly, where would
if
you
you're
boys have?
while you're doing this,
Yeah.
if you're spending up big, boys, and you do not own Lockie Ash or Nazaya Wanganeen Millera, who are you going to select?
I want Nas.
Yeah, I think I'd be taking Naz as well.
I'm still on Naz.
I'd take Naz.
We're all taking Naz.
But
I
Ash is
It's,
think
still
we only leave Victoria
dominating,
once
though,
for
like-
the rest of the year.
yeah, I'm so confident on him compared to many other defenders, Naz. And Ash, I'd love to have on the side as well. But yeah, just interesting for those people that are maybe willing to spend up a little bit more and have the choice.
Yeah, Ash is kind of like the McCluggage of the defense. Like I know I've compared that before with like Caldwell, but you know,
Well,
Very
they play
light.
each other in round 24, so it could be a grand final choice there.
Ooh, there we go. There
Pod
we
grand
go.
final. Yeah, like it. That's a good.
He
one.
doesn't, Janath. He doesn't want to be added here, does he? Lockie?
I'm sure that I had Lockie Ash in here, but he just.
He's-
I'm
We
gonna have
know
to
where he
grab- I'm gonna
ranks.
have to grab a
Alrighty.
random photo.
It's all good.
This is gonna. This is
all right.
We know
really
you're a
bad for
pod,
those
Lockie, but
thinking-
come on, mate. At least arrive on the scene here, mate.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is. Oh, here we go. We can go with this one. Do you know what's really bad about this is that my OCD, if I don't get a picture of like a head, it's gonna be bad because all the other ones are all heads, and we've got Lockie Ash. It's gonna be some rando. All right, we'll go with this one. Hopefully this works.
What?
Come on.
What
Come
is that?
That reminds
all right, it works.
That is
that
absolutely
reminds me-
rancid. What
I
is
don't want
that?
to digress, but it reminds me of something straight away. My under 11s footy photo, my best mate Sammy couldn't arrive on the photos, and they're like, "We'll digitally insert you into the photos. We'll not know that you're missing, right?" So they've gone with the single head in the top right hand corner of the photo. They didn't insert him into the team. It's like, how on earth would you know he's not missing? He stands out like a sore thumb, and I'll always remember that. It's an absolute classic. We'll just blend you in, mate. Yeah, the old little head photo in the corner. So
It's lucky Ash
Off a
going
bloody
into top
portrait
today.
to mugshot.
Or is he
that
going
one.
to mud?
yeah, like everyone's sitting with each other as a team, little head up there. It's icy as.
Where's he
That
going?
photo, like that close up, that reminds me of like I recently. It's a bit off topic, but I recently got my heavy vehicle license in the mail, and the mug shots that they do.
Well
I mean,
done,
it just
mate.
doesn't do you justice. I think, geez, like I thought it looked a little bit cleaner, but gee, I was flat with that one. So yeah, a bit of a
Flat
rare
as a
mug
tack.
shotty from Lockie Ash. Don't mind it. Definitely better than mine, that's for sure.
So, where are we putting Lockie Ash?
We love
Keep
Ash.
him there.
I'd have it. Yeah,
Keep him there.
that'll do.
Keep him
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, we're
Respectful.
almost there. I did add a Jeremy Cameron in there as well. I put Zach Merritt and Tom Atkins side by side because I think they're like the perfect dichotomy of what we see in terms of what a good Supercoach play looks on the outside compared to someone that's going under the radar. So Zach Merritt this year is averaging 106.7. Tom Atkins this season is averaging 97. So they're between 9 points. But if I didn't tell you that, many coaches would have no idea about it. So again, that Geelong fixture is what I'm looking at with Atkins. His last 6 have been 108, 83, 145, 91, 84, 108. He's a major pod, 0.8% owned. Could you, if you already have Smith and Holmes, could you triple down with an Atkins in the midfield?
No,
No,
I'm not picking a
Right,
tagger.
that's-
Sorry.
that's fair.
I actually, when I saw the
Mm.
photo, I was thinking, who is this? Are you trolling us? Like, I didn't actually know who it was. Took me a minute to sort of.
There's a
convince
slap.
who it is.
There's a slap.
Jeez. All right, fair enough.
Pass.
That's okay. So we'll put him as a pass. Zach Merritt is if Merritt if
Nah.
Neil is a pass, is Merritt a pass? Or is he better?
No, because Merritt has Gold Coast and Richmond, so that's a good couple of weeks. Both teams concede heavily to mids, but then again, he's looking at a potential Bedford tag. Does have Jordan again, and then
Geelong,
Quinn Hager
St
as
Kilda,
well.
Carlton could all tag
Oh,
him.
windy.
St Cotter loves tagging
Hey.
Merritt. St
St.
Cotter more
Cotter,
than anyone.
St. Cotter loves nothing more than a Merritt tag.
He loves it.
Froth somewhere. He
I'd
loves
almost-
a
Every
Merritt tag.
It sounds like super disrespectful on
Yeah.
Merritt. Because I would definitely have him like knocking on the door, top 6 to 8, even slightly lower. But I think better options available is totally fair enough, based off his fixture. Like not much to do with him, but just the opponents, the tags that are coming up, like 3 to 4 absolute shoe-in tags for the rest of the season. Do you really want that in your side with all these other like better options available? Like Ed Richards will be really cheap in a couple of weeks too, so I feel like he'd be a much better option than like Merritt, who's a serious tag threat. So
By the length, I reckon, mate. By the
Yeah.
absolute length. Yeah.
I don't know, pass is too stiff, but I really monitor that run that's coming up, and yeah, it doesn't really fulfill me with that much confidence in Supercoach and as a
Yeah, no,
Bronze
fair
man.
enough, mate. Fair enough. I don't know too many owners again, similar to Neil, that are actually, Janath did great work, mate, that are actually happy with him, mate. So the next bloke here, though,
Jeremy Cameron.
below Jezza Cameron, I tell you what, at the price, I would I'm sicko because you even though I've only got 3 trades, I can't make any moves. I was just contemplating, what can I do here? And if I had an extra one up the sleeve, a nice little Bolton to Jezza Cameron move would without doubt be on the cards to me. Just send it with a key forward. He's a bit like a Darcy. I guarantee you we're going to see some, I'll say 2 to 3 at least, nice ceiling scores from Jezza before we finish up the season. There'll be a couple of duds, I'm sure, but yeah, just for the highs of the highs, it'd be a fun move. But
Better
I
options,
don't mind a bit of a
slightly
sideways.
lower in the
Better
front?
options, I think.
Better options?
Yeah. Either. I just think with all the Geelong players, that fixture is what we're focusing on a lot here, isn't it? I think that's an extra element that we need to take into consideration.
You could probably loop him as well. Like I think they probably do play a lot of Thursday, Friday games. Just a hunch. You know, you could
He'd be
probably
a great
loop him with
looper.
that forward. Yeah.
Yeah, the old flexer.
Boys, and with that, that brings us to the end of the by tier makers. What I will share though is our final tier list. How exciting is this? So
Oi.
Here we go.
if we have a look at this,
How good.
Lockie, this is 2024 Lockie Ash, by the way. Why it doesn't look as he does. All right. Now time for final edits. So what we'll do, we could go around and edit everything, but I'll give each of us 2 goes. So everyone gets 2 chances to move a player up or down. You can move them as far up or far down as you want. DR. We'll start with you, mate. I'm sorry if you can't see the last in the past, but I'm sure that Clary, Neil, and Tom Atkins probably not making it out there.
Yeah, they're not moving. These boys aren't moving.
Is there a player you'd want to move?
There is no one, as I'm looking, that's standing out like absolute dogs. You know what? I will do. My move, and this is not based on talent, but based on question marks overall, it's Harry Sheasel.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to put Shees slightly lower in his line because there was absolutely 8 defenders that I would take over the Shees. So that's a change that I'll make for now.
Yeah, agreed. Spillsy?
Yeah, there's one that really stands out for me as well, and needs the recognition. I want to elevate Errol to. We'll put him in slightly lower for now, but hot start.
Good call.
Absolute hot start. So yeah, good price, 570 odd. Yeah, grab him if you want. He looks unreal. Sydney looks so much better with him running around on that wing, and maybe I don't know, like. You got to be really careful when you talk about the Bont, but I wasn't happy with what I saw on the weekend, boys. Like 560k must have. How loosely do we say that? How are we over analyzing his name? It's the Bont must have, but gee, what are we? That's 2.
It might come down. It might come back to you, Spillsy. So just hold off on that thought.
We've had 2 stinkers in 3 weeks from the Bont. So
do you know what was in the middle? That's the Bont for you. 177.
Yeah,
that's the Bont for you.
He's known for his consistency, but hasn't been consistent. It's just been a yo-yo on steroids, essentially.
The old brain, the one that stays
best
down.
Is just magnificent. The worst is, where are you? Are you even playing? Like, I don't know.
Where are you going, Rossco?
Right. Rossco.
I think it's a tough one. This could be contentious. Brodie Grundy is looking like he could genuinely out-average one of Gawn or Cherry. Does he go up to being a must-have? I know a lot of people probably.
Who do you can't?
Okay, that's fair.
You can't have 3, though, can you? No. You can't have 3.
Take one out.
Take one top 6 to 8 because he's right up there.
Oh, do you know what?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't be the one to say it.
You don't want to drew to him. You don't want a bad drew to him.
Would you guys have, we're talking now until the end of the season, serious question, are we still sticking with Gawn over Grundy? In reality?
Gawn's fixture opens up in a couple of weeks, which is the scary part as a non-owner.
All right. Are we surely Sherry...
Gawn's had it really tough in the last few weeks. He did have Witsy. He did play Cherry, didn't he? They had a battle, so. And he's Gawn's a hard one. I still think Gawn's the man, but that's the hardest it gets for him. It will open up, and we know what happens when it opens up. He dominates, so.
Can't believe I asked the question, really. Rossco, what do you reckon, mate?
What's going on with Cherry?
Yeah, I don't know. Just the Rucks are a bit down on form.
Yeah. Except Grundy.
All right. So let's just say if you've got Sherry and Gawn, if you could choose any other flex in the game, would you go with Brody Grundy? Would he be the third, the flex that you'd want?
Not at 700k, I wouldn't be trading into him.
If you can get there,
Yeah. Oh,
Look, for sanity's sake, we'll put him here because I doubt many coaches in the position where they have to choose between the three. But I really like your thinking, Rossco. My move, what is it? Spillsy, I think you went with Errol. I'm going to do a Saint swap. So I'm going to swap Naz and Jack Sinclair.
I like
I
that.
spoke about that the other week. I said there's a very
like
good
that.
chance that these two swap spots, and I think we're seeing it.
Yeah.
Predictable.
And then another one which I would.
All right, I'm going
we'll,
to.
We'll go back. We'll go back to DA.
Is it my turn?
Yes, it is.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but are we giving just a little bit? And he's had a magnificent season. I'm an owner, and I hate to do it, but I'm just questioning: have we given Andy Brayshaw a little bit too much respect as a must-have?
I think so.
I don't like doing it, but
are we going to swap him with someone else, or do you reckon he just goes down?
Is it the King, the Collingwood King, that comes up or not? He's in decent form.
Comes up.
All right, I'm happy to put Brayshaw down. You blokes have the discussion about whether or not the King comes up.
Oh,
I don't think he should. Yeah, they're probably
not enough you, Rossco.
They're going to score quite similarly to finish the season. You'd think
he'll get tagged this week as well, but Gold Coast and Richmond in the next 3 weeks after that. Yeah, look, we can keep him there. I'm not sure what Spillsy thinks, but yeah. Before Spillsy gets back, Rossco, go on.
Yep.
Do you have anything else you want to change?
I think I'm pretty happy to sit on it at the moment.
Yeah. Fair enough, mate. Spillsy's still not back. That's okay. One thing that I just love him, and I felt like I want to put Turk Mill in slightly lower. Like he's had such a
trademark.
He's had such a good season from being the third midfielder, but he just goes without notice. And where's Matty Rowell? Is Matty Rowell in here? Yeah, Matty Rowell's in there. That's good.
Do you know the most contentious one that I would slightly and I'm talking about, my chance of getting a platinum card in a GDS pack, but Jordan Dawson.
Yeah.
I think most teams would really love to have him, particularly if even if you're a league player for your Supercoach finals, if you're in some cash leagues.
Yeah.
Or he's almost, I would rather own, this may be a big call, I would rather own Jordan Dawson than Andy Brayshaw. If you could say, here's the two for the rest of the season, I'm almost going with Jordan Dawson for me. And that may be disrespecting Brayshaw, and I love him, but I really like the looks of Jordan Dawson from now until the end of the season.
I was worried. I thought you were going to relegate him. I was going, what's going on here?
I'm not relegating him, mate. The poor bloke doesn't get paid contested marks, obviously, but he's a big moment player as well. Can have a really big last quarter if they need him to. So, I'm a big fan of Jordan Dawson.
There are probably 2 tags coming this week. I think he'll get the Langdon tag, like Anderson got on the weekend, and then Port Adelaide will probably get the Bergman tag again. But other than that, Gold Coast at Adelaide Oval, Hawks at Adelaide Oval, they've been a bit suspect in the midfield, and he also scored, 118 just a couple of weeks ago against them. Then West Coast, Collingwood, and then North Melbourne. So like you said, we can put him up. We can put him up if you want.
Oh no, it was very contentious. I'm not going there yet, but
okay.
I would have him slightly as he's there just in front of Andy. But that's a big call, I know.
All right. So we'll do a final head count then. We've got 9 must-haves. Boys, how many do you have of them? 6.
3.
5.
3. Who do you have, Rossco?
Bont and the Dash Brothers.
Bont and the Dash Brothers. DR.
I'm Sherry,
Everyone but
Bont,
Butters.
Gorn, Naz, and Baz for me.
Yeah. I've got Cherry, Bont, Butters, Naz, Baz, Holmes. So if you're in the comments down below, put down how many of our must-haves you have, and then you could even go as far to say your top 6 to 8 options as well. But basically, if we were to put a team together, the final team you ideally want to have, you take these 2 segments, maybe chop off one of the ruckman sort of thing. This is the final team we want to have. This is not the final team we do have. And I know very quickly we had a comment last week asking about 23rd player options. It's very difficult to say. Callum Mills, is my 23rd player. DR, your 23rd player is?
Oh, you can choose between Mills or Bolton. I've got a few that could be the 23rd at the moment. Maybe it's McCarthy.
McCarthy. Rossco, do you got a 23rd?
Yeah, McCarthy.
McCarthy, good man. We should have actually added him in, but that's right.
Yeah.
And there we go. That is our final tier maker. So I know there's some players that may be a bit stiff to miss out. Some players that may not be in the category that you think they are in, but feel free to comment down below. And if you think that there are any players that we have missed as well entirely, please let us know, and we'll hopefully bring this back again, new and revamped ahead of the 2026. Can't believe I'm saying that Supercoach season next year.
Yeah, and kudos to you, Janath, for bringing that to the table. That was, I think, probably the most popular segment we've had during the last 5 weeks. So elite work. Kudos to you, brother.
Thank you, mate. All right, we got Spillsy back right in time to talk through a strategy part of the podcast, sideways trades. So a lot of coaches are in strife in terms of their trades, but could you see certain players being sideways? And the players I'm talking about here, some names that spring to mind: Matt Roberts, Harry Sheasel, Shea Bolton, Isaac Rankin, and some of the targets we just talked about before. Any of those must-have players, it's going to be hard to get to them via rookies. Is it time to start sidewaysing? I'll pose this question to you, Spillsy, first of all. How many trades do you need to have to sideways a player like a Bolton, Rankin, Sheasel, Roberts type to even consider it?
I think I've had my fun with sideways trades this year. I'm down to 2, so look, listen to my advice if you will. But look, it did get me through the buys. I did get rid of Rankin for Darcy. Look, it might be a very sidewaysy sort of trade, but yeah, it did get me 140 points I didn't have over one particular week of the buy. So that really helped. What was the other one? I can't remember what else I did, but yeah, I think you'd probably want at least 3 or 4 trades. I think if you go down to 2, you kind of want to make sure you got that cover available. It's a bit tricky, this one, because I just went up to go to the bathroom. Maybe I should have gone to the bathroom for this segment, because who am I to plan for sideways trading? I've got 2 trades and I've got to get Butters in, so it's him or nothing. So I don't think I'm that much help here, but yeah, DR, what are your thoughts, man? You're a little bit ahead of me, and yeah, I'm happy to admit that. You got the extra trade over me, and well, we got very similar players. I know we both cut Rankin, we both got Shea, we both got the Chad and the She. So it is really frustrating. And then like Kirch has been good, but Mills not looking good early. So it's a bit frustrating. A lot of fake primos run around. So yeah, it's just a year.
Probably as a more general answer looking here, like how many trades do you think someone that's watching this would probably want to have? Yeah.
For me,
I'd say 3 or 4 minimum.
Okay, 3 to 4. Yeah, well, I'm pretty similar. I've got 3 trades at the moment. I did joke around before about saying I want Bolton sideways to maybe Cameron. But I think if you've got 4 trades in the bank, and let's just say McCarthy's a 24th player, I think you can make a sideways. That's basically what I did last week. So I'm down to 3 now, but I remember I went with, I got Mills into the side, but also went from Neil to Hewitt, which was that sideways trade for me. So I did that with 4 trades. And I had McCarthy at that stage, and I still do as a 24th. So I would say 4 trades with McCarthy as a 24. I'd be happy to do a sideways if you can.
Beauty. Rossco, we'll start off with you then. If you had to rank Roberts, Sheasel, Bolton, Rankin, and then whoever else you want to add into that mix, Neil, as sideways options, Well, maybe do those 5 if you can. How would you rank them?
This is hard, not owning them. So obviously, I'm not really
You don't know the
too
pain.
invested in how they go.
Know the pain.
Sounds cool to say to everyone else. Probably Bolton, I reckon, might be up there, number 1.
Yeah.
Roberts 2. I still like Rankin, so I probably have him near the last one.
Yeah.
Who were the other 2 that you said there?
Sheasel and Neil.
Yeah, Neil would go above Sheasel for me, I think.
Yeah. And
but
I guess
Bolton,
you could...
Bolton and Roberts would have to go before those 2, I think, if they were in my side.
Roberts is playing a disgusting role at the moment, playing on that sort of wing. It's just a dead role for him, which I guess is very similar to Shea Bolton as well. And
he's
that's
playing
where
too much forward.
That's it. And like where you're trading out someone like a Neil or even an Adam Chero, someone we haven't mentioned here, at least they've got the role. They're just not scoring overly well. Harry Sheasel, another one that just has a dead role playing in a bad side. Like he's played well, but if he just got some more midfield minutes, his score would drastically improve. And then Spillsy, in terms of players you're looking to bring in, if there was 1 or 2 players this week that are at a good price that you think will have a good scope from here to the end of the season, who are sort of a couple of players that you recommend for the viewers?
I brought him up before. That's tough because I'm not necessarily saying this week, but Red Ed, mate, he's just dropped to 60. Had one of the great seasons, so he's going to be like low 500k soon because I think he's had another not bad score, but pretty sort of ordinary. So he'd be one that I'd be really looking to target. Yeah. In terms of most traded in, another one I just mentioned, so Errol Goulden as well. Yeah. So just adapted straight into that wing role. And as a pod, I mean, they're the 2 that I could really advocate for in the midfield that just look unreal. And look, I'll be honest with you, mate. There's every chance that Big Nico Madden gets dropped and I can't get to Butters. So I might have to settle for a really cheap Errol, well, not cheap Errol because he's going up, but maybe a really cheap Ed for that price. So, I don't know. I think you got to assess the situation and weigh up your options because you can't pay up for all the Ferraris. So they're the ones that I like at the moment anyway. So, but there's more players that I want to trade out than trade in at this point. That just sums up the season. I mean, it's just super frustrating. A lot of fake promos.
If you're looking for a pod, Errol Goulden plays St Kilda next week at Marvel, North at the SCG, Essendon at the SCG, and West Coast at Optus, all on the run home.
The Bombers is a big one. He carves us. He rips us to shreds, Errol, every time. Just, inevitable.
He's going to be such a good pod. POD, owned by 0.6% of the comp at the moment, and I reckon a lot of them are tuned in coaches. DR. So the 2 questions which I posed to the boys down there, Rossco and Spillsy, was firstly, if you had to rank Bolton, Sheasel, Rankin, Roberts, and Neil as trade out options, how would you go?
So first would be Bolton.
Yep.
Then it'd be Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'd be Neil.
Okay.
Then it'd be Sheasel.
Yep.
And who's the last? Then Rankin. I've just got with Rankin. I'm looking at fixture here, and I'm holding the faith. I'm keeping the faith because we just talked about Jordan Dawson and his really nice run. I'm hoping that he can find his skill again and just reach a ton. So, maybe it's blind faith, and this is very personal here, but I think Rankin can come back. I'm going to make a bold statement, boys. Here we go.
Yeah. Here we go.
The man has not hit a ton in how long? From now until the end of the season, he'll average 3 figures, boys. There we go.
Bold statement. Jeez.
No, that's pretty realistic.
Know if that is bold. I think that's realistic, yeah.
Very realistic.
Oh, is that? All right. Well, yeah, the bloke hasn't tonned in how long? I'm saying he's going to average a ton for the rest. I thought that was half bold, but
fair enough.
DR, mate. Like, DR, form is temporary, mate. Form is temporary.
And?
Form is temporary.
And?
Class is permanent.
And class is permanent.
Absolutely.
I think we're going to, and I'll make another really big call as well. I reckon how good Sam Darcy, like he's a freak, but I reckon trading him to train Rankin to him could well and truly age like milk by the end of the year. I think we'll look back at that.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Bang.
I'm going to say that. Because
Oh, no.
you
It's
look
just
at Rankin's
things all
fixture,
over it.
what he's done the first half of the year, and as good as Darcy is, he's still a key forward. So
Yeah,
I'm
but
just,
look,
I'm not saying anything,
look
boys, but I'm just
Darcy.
proposing,
Darcy.
I just feel
Yeah.
like back your
Mate,
gut, and that's my gut says.
When Darcy plays
Back
your
it.
mob, he's going to kick 12.
Oh, there's a
Ooh.
comeback.
That's a
Zing.
cool one.
Boom. Boom.
Who
All
else
right.
has he got?
Very quickly. So, and then Spillsy has mentioned Errol Goulden and Ed Richards as two options either this week or in the upcoming weeks you could sideways them to. Do you have any other players that you think are good buy-in this week that are sort of undervalued or sort of going under the radar as sort of trade options to them?
Maybe the bloke that I bought in last week, Georgie Boy. I think he's a really good shout. Not a sexy pick, but he just gets the job done, and I feel like he's really safe. It feels like the attention goes to Cripps all the time, and he just has his flaw with his tackle count, and always looks like that bloke that is giving 100%. I don't think I've ever watched George Hewitt play and say to myself, "Well, geez, he's not really putting in this week." He's just a bloke that I really respect as a player, and Jezza Cameron's the other one. I know he's a key forward, but we're keen on Sam Darcy. We've seen what Jezza's done in his best days as well, and with a friendly fixture that he has, I think he could do a little bit of damage as a bit of a key forward pod. Maybe if you don't own Darcy, don't go overboard. Some may have Phil Thorpe as well. Game day squad, very impressive. Was Riley on the weekend too. Thank you very much, son.
That's it, mate. And then I'm just going to throw one name out there because he's sort of just a player that you sort of enjoy watching, that sort of thing. How about we sort of think about, like, if you can somehow get to him, Luke Ryan. Like, I know that he's got 4 more games at Optus Stadium. 550K is a bit to pay up for. And Naz is around that same price as well. But the floor is there, but the ceiling could also be there. And he's still playing that last man in defense sort of thing. If you can somehow get him up to a Luke Ryan, that's a good pod you could have on the run home. So don't mind that at all there for him. And Isaac Heaney, another one that's sort of just been not sort of flying under the radar, but at the same price as Errol Goulden. His last sort of 6 weeks have been immense. 144, 134, 123, 83, 110, 138. I know H, our great mate H has jumped on him a while back.
Nice H.
Paying the dividends now. So, Rossco, we'll finish with you. Any other players you'd want to add in as sort of sideways trade options in?
Now, I know it's not exactly a pod because 40% of teams have him, but a lot of teams did trade him out with his lung. McRae, he's still sitting 500K. He's still in that top average. If you don't have him and you got a little bit of cash to get like a Bolton or a, Rankin to him, then I still think, he's playing that midfield role and we have a lot of games at Marvel, so he should be able to score pretty consistently. The other one that I was sort of looking at was Joel Frazier, but I don't know if I like it so much. I don't know if I like it so much. Maybe as a defender, not a midfielder.
Yeah. No, I
he
like
does have
it, mate.
that DPP.
Yeah. And also, very quickly, talking about DPP, there's one relevant DPP that will probably get it in this upcoming round, and that is Sam Doherty. So he should be a defender mid for those that jumped on him at the start of next round. So that's good move there.
I thought you were going to say Sam Darcy because he could get ruck forward.
Yeah, possibly. One to watch out for next year. If Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson continue to be in the same side, we may see a ruck mid Luke Jackson to start 2026.
That'd be unreal, wouldn't it? The old dog.
It's never been done before, has
Mark
it?
Blitzarves, I reckon, was a ruck
Blitz.
mid at some point.
Oh,
he was actually, you think that? He was actually a ruck defender back in the day.
Was he? Okay.
He was,
there we go.
which is even weird. That's even more strange, isn't it?
it is.
Hey, DR, I've got a question for you.
Yeah, mate.
You do the slides every week. Have you forgotten to do this slide or something?
Lads, it's that stage of the season. Absolute duck eggs.
Everyone's
For
checked
us
out.
this week. Absolute
0.
duck egg. The easiest slide I've put together in a while, Rossco. No action here whatsoever. Nope, done.
There we go.
Dusted. That's trades. Quickest segment ever.
Wow.
And I guess with that, we can move on to Captain's Corner and call it a day afterwards. Rossco, do you want to take us through the Captain's Corner for this week?
Let's go.
Yeah, sure thing. There's a lot of tasty matchups this week, a lot of green in there. The Dogs playing against North Melbourne is one on Thursday, which looks like it could be very, very tasty. Richards, Bond, Dale, Darcy, all very nice. Friday night, we get Dacos against Carlton, who are 7th or 9th in the last 5 and 10. But Carlton are really struggling at the moment. Do they tag him? I'm not really sure, but he could break it. We've also got Tom Green, who's on fire, playing against the Eagles, who are 6th. But, Tom Green should get off the chain there, I think. Ash as well, with no Whitfield, could be a sneaky pod to watch out for.
Yeah.
Merritt and Janath Boy Caldwell as midfielders playing against the Suns are tasty as well. Holmes and Bailey Smith against Richmond at GMHBA is one that I'm definitely keen to look out for. I think I probably lean towards Holmes over Smith, just because Smith has had these matchups and he gets a lot of the ball, but it's uncontested or it's not efficient, whereas Holmes is sort of, really, really precise with his ball use and racking up more sort of effective stats. The last one I was sort of looking at was Grundy against Melbourne and then Gawn versus Adelaide. Now, Janath, you're a bit wary of a Langdon tag. For me, I don't think it really phases me because I think Jordan Dawson has that nature to go forward. And I don't know if Langdon will follow him to full forward.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't mind that, but we want our midfielders playing in the midfield. We just see with Jordan Dawson, he goes forward and if he doesn't get those contested marks and goals, it's going to be pretty difficult for him to really rack up the Supercoach points. And especially as a captain, I'd prefer a safer option. And so could I tempt you if you're a Brodie Grundy owner into Fremantle? Like playing them against Fremantle, if you're a Brodie Grundy owner, I think that's a great matchup. We saw what Rowan Marshall did against the ruck pairing against Freo. That's a really good matchup there. And then who gets the Jordan tag? It's gone to Jordan Clark in the past. Does that mean that a Caleb Strong and Andy Brayshaw can get a little bit off the chain? That's something to wait and see as well. Which way are you leaning in terms of your VC and C, mate?
For me, I'm really tempted by the Bont. Look, he's had some big scores against North in the past. Obviously, the 63 and the 66 is what scares me. But the 177 in the middle does make it seem like you could just lock that away on a Thursday night and enjoy the rest of your weekend without having to worry about who you're going to choose as a captain. Yeah. Dacos is another one. I think maybe if I go Bont and it doesn't work, I think I'd probably go with Max Holmes. He loves GMHBA. He hasn't scored particularly well against Richmond, 59 and 41, but I'd say that that's probably him at the start of his career. So the 133 is probably a bit more accurate there. Yeah. So I think for me, I might go with Bont into Holmes. There's certainly plenty of good options. Let's throw it over to you guys.
Exact same for me, mate. Bont into Holmes is where I'm leaning as well. Great points raised between Holmes and Smith. Like, you can't go wrong, but I feel like Smith is the type where you could get screwed over by scaling quite early if he kicks a couple to the opposition, and then he's just playing catch-up all game to try and get back to that even slate between fantasy and Supercoach where most of the points are allocated early, whereas Holmes normally gets off to that good start because of his disposal efficiency, normally, knock on wood. DR, Spills, where are you boys leaning?
Well, originally, I thought the Baz was so super safe that I was willing to take just a punt on the VC. But after listening to you boys, maybe it's not as safe as what I was thinking. I just had 140, lock it in my head. But you do raise some really good points. Originally, what I was thinking is just taking a punt on Sam Darcy and being able to watch him would be really fun as a VC.
Yeah.
Second ruck up against Jack Darling. I see some nice hit-outs to advantage there. I think that's a really nice matchup for him. And we know that Comben is still injured at the moment. Toby Pink has been playing some good football, but really, I don't think they've got too many blokes that are going to stop him down there, regardless of the conditions. It's going to be under the roof, so it's going to be nice weather. So I can see Sam Darcy just popping off as that pod vice captain that not many would go with. You just bypass for the more sensible and safe bonds, I think. But given the fact that maybe I'm not as confident on Baz now, the Bont as a really safe option is going to be hard to pass up. So it may now be the Bont into Baz, but it's definitely going to be someone into Baz. It's either the human size skyscraper or the Bont. Not quite sure yet. Depending on how I feel on the night, I think.
I think you're fine to go with the human skyscraper, honestly, mate. Like, with regards to Smith, what we were talking about is between differentiating Holmes and Smith. So it's not to say that Smith is not a 120 option. It's more that if you have both of them, you got to pick one of them, right, to captain. And I think Ross and I are both in unison that we'd prefer to go Holmes as a safer captaincy option than Smith. Not
But
to
you
say
still
that
have my
Smith
blessing.
isn't a captaincy option. I give you a blessing. I give you a blessing.
That's all I wanted to hear. Thank you, mate.
Does Rossco give you the blessing?
Oh, Rossco.
Yes.
Good. All right. The 50-50 blessing, you don't know how you feel about that, do you? You need to be all in on this. So, thank you very much, lads. Spillsy?
Yeah, I like Bont as VC, but I'm sort of stuck in two minds a little bit here. I think this is the sort of season, particularly right now, it's one where I'm really happy to just go against the crowd. I don't always want to do what everyone else is doing. And I like Darcy VC a lot better. I know I just said that like Rankin was going to do him for points, but he does have North, and this is a very, very good game on the Thursday night too. So I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards Darcy just for that really high ceiling.
Let's split down the middle then. Let these two go with the Bont. We'll go with the human skyscraper, mate.
You can VC who you want, but I'm electing, the big Sammy Darcy. He's unreal. He looks so good, and I wish I had a Max Holmes to fall back on. I don't, so I think Baz is the next best. Or boys, do I just go save as houses C and just Captain McCarthy? I mean, you can't. I mean, am I crazy?
You're not crazy. You're not crazy.
Save as houses captain. I think they're playing at MG Stadium against the Giants.
No, they're playing at Optus.
No, it's Optus. Even better.
Even better.
Lock now. Lock it.
If you're a lucky Ash owner as well, this is going to be such a good matchup against West Coast. No Whitfield.
No
Going to
Whitfield.
pick up everything down back.
Yeah, that's a.
Oh wow, yeah.
Gonna have a fun time fitting all these boys in my game day squad this week too. Gee whiz.
It's going to be.
It's going to be good.
Should I trade? Would you trade a Heaney? Would you trade a Heaney gold for a Lockie Ash gold?
Oh yeah.
No. No.
Yes, I would.
No, I mean, if I had the Ash gold, there's no way I'm giving it to you.
No, as in, I think DR wants to trade the Heaney for an Ash. You would.
I was going to put something
if that's an offer.
I was going to just dangle. I dream a Heaney for an Ash, but nah. All right, I'll keep on to him. Did well for me last week.
You can put it out there. See if someone bites.
I'll put it out there. See how we go, mate. See how we go.
All right, boys. Before we finish, we always finish with an anecdote these days.
Yes.
So what I'm going to go and do is I want you boys to go back and think about your very first memory of AFL footy. Whether it was at a game, what got you into footy, or what is your earliest memory of being a supporter of your club at a game, anything like that. I'm happy to start. My first memory was going to a Carlton game in 2008. I just became a Blues fan because my year one teacher, Miss Vicky, shout out to you. I still catch up with her at the games these days.
That is so cool, by the way. Yeah. That is awesome, man.
So she's absolute superstar. Got me into the footy. I went and watched Fev. I think he kicked 7 goals. Kicked one over his head against Richmond as well, mind you. Absolute. That was the pinnacle. And then I'll give you boys a random story, okay? So Brock McLean. I met Brock McLean at a service station, but I was too scared to go up to meet him. So I told my dad, I think that's Brock McLean. I'm about 9 or 10 at this stage. I'm like, my dad, I think that's Brock McLean. Can you go and have a chat to him? And then he's gone to have a chat with him. And Brock McLean, the most purest bloke, goes into his car, gets his Carlton training hoodie, and just hands it over. He's like, here you go, mate. Let's grab a picture and all that. So those are sort of foundation core memories as a Blues fan when he kicked a goal against Richmond on a rainy Saturday night. I remember from outside 50, cleared the pack, absolute pinnacle. Those are sort of core memories starting up. All right, that's enough of the Blues from me. Let's go to let's go to you, D. I want to hear some Fitzroy stories.
Oh, well, the first thing that I tend to remember is just family and friends. Being a Fitzroy supporter, we're all very, very close, and it literally seemed like you knew 50% of the supporters personally. There wasn't a heap of us that went to the game, but they were so loyal and really got to know people. So I just remember the big picnic blanket and my aunties, my uncles, my cousins, Nan, Pop, all the family just sitting there with the old thermos. It was just brilliant. And the old kick to kick at the end of the game, that was fantastic. I had one at the Gabba a couple of weeks ago, which was really cool. But yeah, the old kick to kick on the field, fantastic. And the other memory that really stands out to me was going to a really early Fitzroy jumper presentation. So they had the big truck up there, and they were all standing up there and got their jumpers. And I remember getting their photos and signatures and all that sort of business. And yeah, that was a really, really fun day for me, getting to meet all the heroes for the first time there. So yeah, they're probably, family is the big one that always comes back to me though, mate, being an old Fitzroy supporter.
Brilliant. Spillsy?
Yeah, I've got one, but it's going to take a little bit of explaining. I think DR knows about this, but I don't know if you boys do. It's not something I really need to address too much, but I was never always an Essendon supporter. Was
No
never
way.
always.
Blues.
No, I
Blues.
kid you not. No, you wish, mate. Oh, you're on your wildest dreams. Rossco would be super happy, but when I was at 8 years old, it was 2008. One of Mum's best mates, and their kids were going to a footy game. They took me with them, and it was actually St Kilda Doggies. So I was actually a St Kilda supporter growing up. From I reckon age. There's a reason I changed. I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. So
has he won out or not?
Let me go, and you can jump in because I need to explain this because it doesn't make any sense. So first footy memory, like this is how I actually got passion for the game. I didn't really know much about it. I was 8. I went to the game, watched St Kilda play, and it was the first time I'd ever been to a footy game, and I just remember like how overwhelming it was, how big the stadium was. It was just unbelievable, and all my mates I went with, like mum's friends and stuff, they're all St Kilda, and they just sort of poached me a little bit. And then the next year was 2009 when they really started dominating. So Nick Riot was probably one of my favorite players growing up. And then my how I changed to Essendon is my stepdad. He was an Essendon member, and he sort of took me to a lot of games. I was about 10 or 11, and I just couldn't get to a St Kilda game, so I didn't actually choose to change teams. It just sort of happened naturally. So I became a Bombers man, just not really by choice. I picked St Kilda as my team, but Essendon was what I got roped into. So first ever footy memory, boys, where I really started liking footy. It was Rossco, mate. It was a St Kilda game. It was. You probably look it up. It was St Kilda Bulldogs in 2008. I can't remember if they won or not, but that's what got me pumped. And then the next year they were unstoppable. And then I was genuinely a St Kilda nuffy. And then changed a few years later when St Kilda become bad, and then Essendon were good. But then the drug scandal happened, and now I've just stuck fat with them this whole time. So you can't change now, boys. Funny story, isn't it? It's a weird one, very unique.
We'll save the best for last then, Rossco. I want to hear this.
Rossco.
All right, now for me, I don't remember my first game. I do remember being terrified of the siren.
What?
Yeah, when I was
genuinely rattled, like you'd be scared.
6 or 7, we were sitting up at level 3, and the siren was really loud, and I used to hate it, and then eventually just got used to it over time. But no, probably the most the one that sticks in my mind from when I was younger. 2009 qualifying final against the Cats, low scoring game, pouring rain at the MCG. I remember me and my dad were sitting in level 1, right at the back of the Saints end, and Geelong got the ball going forward the other way. I think it was Jimmy Gwilt picked it up off the floor. Cam Mooney dived in his back. Ming picks it up, kicks the goal. The Cats fans just going nuts. There's blokes in standing room behind us just going insane. I was just like, my dad's just like, we've just lost, game over. And then obviously the umpire pulled it back and said, no, pushing the back, free kick. Yeah. Cam Mooney's obviously given them the spray and gone, you've just cost us this final. You've just cost us the game. And then 30 seconds to go and we won. And that was that. Very happy. So, I really remember that pretty well.
Very nice.
Now, is it true, Rossco? I'm re-jogging my memory here. Was it true that you had the decision to make between going for two teams?
Not really. No.
I might be mistaken here because I know as a Blues fan now, but my family lives in Essendon. I picked them off all one by one, and all the Essendon scarves and the hats are out of the house now. But there was a period in time where it was looking a bit dicey. It was hard to get them away from being Essendon. Granddad's been converted. Everyone's been converted. Unfortunate for them because look, how much easier would life be if we were all just Geelong supporters?
Oh. Or Hawthorn. Hawthorn have had a fair bit of success. I'm a lot older than you guys though, but that was my choice. Dad was Hawthorn, but all of Mum's were just mad Fitzroy. And the issue with Dad's family is that his brother was North Melbourne, sister was Carlton. They were a bit all over the shop, whereas we're all united on Mum's family. So, but look, either way, I've done better than you guys to date. But you're a young man. There's a lot more time on your side than me, and I'm sure that sooner rather than later, success will come your way as well, boys. I tasted it last year and that three-peat, but when it finally comes, it'll be so good. I guarantee that it'll be all worth it.
Nah, thank you, mate. Well, hopefully, if you guys have your own personal footy story, what got you into footy, your first memory at the footy, put it down in the comments section. I know there's a fair bit. We just love hearing your stories as well. What got you into your favourite players, all of that. So this is not us sort of transitioning away from a Supercoach podcast at all, but it's just our joint love for footy as well. Boys, we didn't even have anything to talk about. We've gone for 1 hour, 50 minutes. I think it just goes to show what the power of friendship and the power of being able to talk. Are there any final words that you guys want to end off on?
No, just
I'm pretty up and about because I just guess who just followed me back, boys. I got Big Jock Reynolds just followed me back, just popped up.
The great human.
I'm stoked with that. I've been following him for ages, but he's just followed me back. Like, obviously, wouldn't have known maybe because he's got like 16K or something. But yeah, bloody oath, I'll cop that. What a legend!
Don't worry about Josh Giddey, mate.
I thought he was going to say Josh Giddey for a moment.
Oh. No, much more famous
bigger, much bigger.
than Josh Giddey. Much
I don't
bigger.
think like that would be insane, but as someone that I can't remember, I don't know anything about basketball. I don't think I'd appreciate that anywhere near as much as you boys would. Especially Janath and DR.
Rossco loves his basketball
too. Rossco would love it. Josh Giddey. Follow back.
Yes.
That's it. And Josh.
Rossco, your final thoughts, words of wisdom?
Nah, I'm going away on Thursday, so I won't be here next week. Going to have to lock in my Supercoach Game Day Squad tipping Wednesday, which will be tomorrow at the time we're recording this. But hopefully, get over to Thailand, get some sun, into the Aussie bar and watch some footy. I was talking to Janath and saying it's 3 hours behind where we are in Melbourne, so 12:35 at Marvel is 9:30 in the morning. Good time to have a chang.
Yes. We love that. How
can I leave with one bit of advice for you, Rossco?
Yeah.
I made this mistake when I was in Thailand.
PG.
A ping pong show is not what you think it is, my friend. It's not what you think it is.
A beer pong show?
A ping pong show.
Oh, ping pong
That's
show.
all I'll say.
Ping pong in Thailand. Yep. All right.
Spillsy.
I'm listening.
If you know, you know. I'm telling you right now, on my honeymoon, I went into a ping pong show with Lisa expecting some table tennis. Boys, not at all. But I'll leave it there.
And that's it. You can finish off the pod here, Janath, if you can keep a straight face, but far out.
All right, boys. We've gone from talking about Supercoach to not so much ping pong shows. We'll leave it there. Season 5, episode 17. Good luck for this week. And we'll see you guys all next week for the next episode of the Supercoach Swordplay podcast. Cheers.
Peace out.